Hello and welcome to episode 393 of the No Sugarcoating podcast. I am so excited to have you here. I am so excited that we're almost to 400 episodes. It's like, where has the time gone? This week I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm actually recording this episode via my usual audio, and I'm also doing video because I want to pop it on YouTube and see if anyone has the preference of watching video versus audio. So if you want to check it out on my YouTube, just search my name, Amber Romaniuk, Romaniuk, and you can check out the episode there. And also it allows you to leave comments and like it if you have any feedback. So feel free to do so if you are going to watch the YouTube. But I'm just so glad you're here. I can't believe we're already, through over the first week of January. I hope 2023 is treating you well so far. I really wanted to have today's episode be about a lot of the things I've learned about energy in the last 6 months. And so today's episode is all about cleaning up energy and how it benefits your health because, oh my goodness, does it ever so much. Energy, intuition, and really as you heal, the more you let your body, your intuition, and the energy guide life. And how do we start cleaning up energy? What does that mean? What does that look like? Because I feel like there's so many different, places that we can go with energy cleanup. So I'm excited to dive into all of that today. And of course, for those of you that are watching the YouTube, I might be looking all over the place because I'm looking at notes. I'm wanting to make sure I don't miss anything. So enjoy. This is super fun today. So a couple of key announcements, of course. The show notes for today's episode can be found at amberapproved.ca /podcast/393. Be sure to share and subscribe and give your friends a heads up that this is available to assist them as well. A friendly reminder, if you're wanting to come in and do some really deep healing to food and body freedom or business freedom, you can go to amberapproved.ca and book a 30-minute body freedom or biz freedom consultation. It's $50 USD. You fill out the intake form and we will connect for a time. My next times are coming in the next couple of weeks to connect and get started. So if you're wanting to heal your relationship with food, binge eating, food addiction, emotional eating, you want to learn more about the subtle energy, you want to heal your digestion, identify and address hormone imbalances, the weight struggles, the unworthiness, and reclaim your power, then make sure you reach out so we can have a conversation around that. And just the final reminder that if you're wanting to come into the 4-month mastermind, which is the group and one-on-one that I offer, 4 months starts mid-January. So essentially next week. And if you want to come and claim a spot and join us for that time, which includes 2 60-minute group calls a month and 2 45-minute one-on-one sessions and a hormone test, then make sure you also email me at info@amberapproved.ca with the subject line mastermind, or you can book a body freedom call and we can talk about this and get you into that as well. So without further ado, let's dive into today's session. I feel like it could be a session. I'm actually excited. I'm going to have another client that I work with for 6 months come on the podcast the next couple of weeks and have her share her story. So that's going to be really cool. And something else I was also thinking of, so let me know. You can email me, you can DM me on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below. I was actually thinking, if a client was open to actually recording one of my follow-up clients with sessions with a client and sharing it as a podcast episode so you guys can get a good idea of what it can look like to do this work. So food for thought, let me know your thoughts. I might share something like that at some point. So cleaning up energy and its benefits to your health. So as we know, we are energy, we emit energy, right? We have all kinds of different energy that we emit. We vibrate at different levels, whether we're vibing high and you're feeling so amazing and you're in the vibrations of love and gratitude and celebration, and joy, or you're feeling icky and, you're feeling low and you're in anger and jealousy and comparison, or you just self-sabotage with food. But energy is everything because our thoughts, our behaviors, the way our physical body is functioning, our environment, the external world, the content we consume, so many things dictate our energy, our vibration, and like the essentially the quality of the energy that we are emitting and feeling. And so when we are often in self-sabotaging behaviors, if you're mindlessly shopping all the time, if you are emotionally eating, binge eating and food addiction, binging and purging, if you're constantly in negative self-talk with yourself and you're fighting with your body, you're obsessing over the number on the scale, if you're constantly arguing with people and in victimhood mode, like everything wrong is happening to me and you're complaining all the time and your space is a mess and you're tolerating everything and everyone and you have a lack of boundaries and you are people pleasing and in perfection all or nothing mentalities and your ego's just in full-fledged control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Then we have a lot of energy leaks that end up happening in our field, in ourselves, and this can really impact us emotionally, and this can fuel more self-sabotage because the more overwhelmed you are, the more emotionally kind of on a roller coaster you are, the lower your vibration, like I talked about in a previous episode. When we're in that lower vibration, it's a lot easier to self-sabotage and stay in looping behaviors of self-sabotage where it's constantly happening. It's easier for us to stay in the same comfort zones of suffering and negative self-talk. It's easier for us to, to not really change and for things to stay the same. And then for us to be upset that nothing is changing. Why aren't things getting better? How come I can't get over this? Why isn't my quality of life improving? And so I think that's why it's so important to talk about this, because we can have these little and big energy leaks and tolerations that keep us stuck, and it's hard to move forward. So I want to share a little bit about my experiences, since the fall essentially, or since like late summer, that have really helped me get to this point. And I'm really excited to continue to clean them up because I feel like it's something where you'll go along, maybe you clean up a lot of energy leaks and there's just like little bits and pieces, right? And then, you're good for a bit and then you find something else to kind of work on. It's a bit of an evolution, but once we get to the point of managing, then I think it's just little things that come up for us to shift. So essentially in the summer, when I was working with my mentor, she's like, okay, you've got to really work on cleaning up energy. You want to raise your vibration. You want to become a higher vibrational match for everything you want to achieve in your life. You want to calm your nervous system more. We've got to clean up energy. So I was like, okay, I feel like I've got it pretty cleaned up. But as I started looking at different areas of my life, my business, my mindset, etc., I saw that there was a lot that did need to be cleaned up. And one of the first things that I really started cleaning up was, communication with my clients. I decided, okay, I'm not doing any more email check-ins. It's all going to Voxer. That just feels so much better, right? So, letting all my clients know about that. Also strengthening communication with my clients. I've talked about this in a couple different episodes where I had certain clients that I completed with because it no longer felt like a fit and it just didn't feel like an equal exchange of energy. It felt like there was a lack of, maybe showing up on some of their end. I mean, no fault to anybody, it happens. But it just didn't feel like a match. And it felt like no matter what I was trying with them, that we weren't getting anywhere. So I completed with those clients with love and released them. And that was a huge energy cleanup because what I've realized is it's important that I don't just take on clients to take on clients because I think I can help them. I take on the clients who I know I can help, who I really want to give my time and energy to, that I think will, work together very well and have a really beautiful equal exchange of energy. And I don't want to work with women who are not ready to show up and own their stuff. Like all the love in the world too. I know there's fear. I know there's stories. I know there's an ego to deal with. And I am happy to coach my clients along the way with that. But if I'm constantly having to have the exact same conversation for months and months and months, and the person is not taking action, they're not doing anything outside of the sessions, and they're just coming to the sessions and using it as a dumping ground, like that's not the way that my coaching containers run. You've got to show up and be willing to take action. Now I'm here to guide you and help you do so. And yes, you're going to have times where you struggle and where we need to have the same conversation a few times, but it's different if it's like you're trying and you're putting in the effort and you're also opening up, which is very important, versus if you're not able to open up with me, it's hard for me to help you. Right. So I started to realize like, oh my gosh, like I have even deeper clarity of who my ideal client is. And she's open and she's coachable and she's going to take action. And when she's struggling, she's going to reach out for help, but then she's going to make the change. Right. And that was super powerful for me to realize, and that my body started to tell me when it was a no quite clearly. Right. I've talked about this. She wake me up in the middle of the night, be like, no, this person's a no. It doesn't feel right. blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much for your message. I'm going to listen. And then I wouldn't take that person on. And I also know what it feels like when it's a yes. So I've really been able to dial in the subtlety of my body telling me, because it's, yes, you're picking me and I'm also picking you, right? So I think this is so important. Like if you're a coach or someone in business who just feels obligated and to take on everyone because you quote unquote want to make more money, et cetera. It's like, no, like this is about being of service and this is about equal energy exchange. And by having a better energy management, your vibration goes up, you clean up this energy and you're going to manifest more easily rather than fighting through and tolerating out of obligation, which is much of a lower vibration and is messier energy to sit in. And then you look in this not only with business, because if you don't have a business, you may be going, well, how does this, relate to me? And it's like, well, it's also looking at expenses. Like I was looking at both personal and business expenses that I was spending, thousands of dollars on. And I'm like, okay, I actually don't need this. I don't need this. Why haven't I taken the time to clean this up, to cancel this, to downgrade subscriptions for certain of my business platforms, right? Looking at personal expenses, like, okay, why am I, I don't need this. Why am I doing a subscription with this? Or, oh, wow, like I've gone to the grocery store like 3 times this week for like extra little things. Like, do I really need to do that every week? No, I don't. So like, let's just tighten that up a little bit, right? So it's looking at expenses, like what are you spending your money on that's actually an energy drain that's stressing you out that you don't really need. And spending money on things that are in support of your greatest good. So examples of that kind of thing would be, I am so grateful that I can spend more money on good quality food. Like that's a number one commitment for Phil and I, that yes, it's a bit more expensive, but the quality of food that we're eating, we want it to be very healthy and local. And we don't want to support big companies that don't care about our health and well-being and are just trying to poison us. So it's so important that we vote with our dollars and actually give it to more local companies that appreciate you and care and do not have a negative agenda behind them. So, also an energy, kind of messy energy, is like wasting money on things, draining your money, energy drain, and then, being stressed because it's like, oh man, like your $50 a week Starbucks habit, but then you're like, well, I don't have any money to invest in any support. But it's like, if you stopped your Starbucks habit, which isn't really, like, I get it, everyone's got their thing, but if you're spending $50 a week on Starbucks and they're putting pesticides in their coffee beans, et cetera, and all the garbage, right? You're investing in this company, like lessening your well-being, just as one example, right? When, if you limited that habit, you could go buy into membership or save for mastermind or one-on-one coaching or whatever. Like same with, certain content you may consume, certain subscriptions you have. Like we canceled Netflix like 2 years ago when they started dropping shows that seemed very inappropriate to us. Like shame on them. So we canceled it. We don't have TV. We don't have any kind of movie subscriptions. We stopped watching movies. We are not really fans of Hollywood anymore. And, we vote with our dollars, and we really just don't want to give our money to big companies who do not have humanity's greatest good in mind. And I'm going to be sharing more about that very soon. I'm really excited about it. And another energy cleanup in a way for me has been like holding back sharing certain things. So you heard me at the beginning of 2022 talk about how I'm going to fully open up spiritually, and I'm going to share my experiences, and I'm not going to hold back for fear of people thinking I'm weird or judging me or turning off. And it felt so good to do so. And as a, an opportunity for me to do so. And I guess as the universe rewarding me, like my downloads doubled for the podcast in 2022, which is so exciting. And I'm excited to see, more and more of you come and listen. And I'm so grateful that you're here. And now it's time to take things to the next level and be more bold and more lovingly honest and more open. And so I'll share soon, I'm probably in the next couple weeks, about a new channel that I'm starting on a different platform that doesn't censor, because some of the things that I want to share, I'm just not sure Apple will be so happy with it. It's unfortunate that we're in a state of censorship on this planet, but I do feel that will change, and I have important things to share pertaining to emotional eating, body image, mindset, thoughts, behaviors, our physical health, connected to a lot of the systems in the world, and that, helping you connect the dots on a much deeper level as to why these systems haven't been supporting your greatest good, and why, you've been struggling on the level you have been, but you can't figure out why. And it's got nothing to do with you. So I'll share more details on that in the next couple of weeks. I'm really excited. And some of you may love it and some of you may hate it. And as I always say in the podcast, take what resonates and leave the rest. Something that I really learned over the past 3 years, as so much has shifted on the planet, and I still believe for our greater good, we just don't see it all right now, depending on the kind of content that you're consuming. But, I really, really, I have love and respect for people, regardless of what their opinions are, unless you're going to really have a very hateful means of talking to someone, which I just don't tolerate. I'm here to love and raise the vibration on this planet. I'm here to help women step into their power and awaken. And that means different things to different people. It could be awakening to your spirituality, your intuition, awakening to the connection with your body, awakening to corrupt systems on this planet, right? Like, awakening is so many different things. And so I'm really excited to just help you connect the dots on a deeper level, physically, energetically, emotionally, spiritually, and go deep. That's going to be my next level of truth. So stay tuned for that. Some of you may already know, about this, because I've been talking to people behind the scenes and letting them know, and it's going to be really fun. So cleaning up energy also means your willingness and openness to be bold and unapologetic and speak your truth and not hold back for fear of what other people are going to think, for fear of being judged, etc. It is you being able to be confident and safe, with your path and your truth, and that it could have a very positive impact on the world. Right. And I think that that's really important, that we don't hold back and we don't snuff out our light for fear of, those who are not ready to hear it. And if you're not ready to hear it, you just don't have to listen. Right. There's so much other value available. Like I don't believe in, ignoring someone all of a sudden because you have different views and opinions, right? We've got to grow up, we've got to get over our egos. It's very ego based. And that's something I'm going to talk about a lot more, is like how judgmental we have become of others because of different opinions. And it doesn't serve humanity to create this kind of divide. So that's all stuff to clean up with your energy. Deal with your ego. When you're so in your ego, when you're critical and judgmental of yourself and others, and you are always a negative self-talk, and you're being hard on yourself, and you're getting on the scale and not liking the number you see, and you're self-sabotaging with food and getting, in the blame game and feeling all the anger and the hopelessness, like, this creates a lot of really heavy, dense energy. And we drain a lot of energy physically, right? Because you're more tired and fatigued, you're more brain fogged, and then energetically as well. Your vibration's lower. And like I said, when your vibration's lower, you're an energetic match to attract lower vibrational things, situations, people, relationships, etc. And that just creates a whole other array of energy leaks. So another thing that, I guess is another energy leak is toleration. So what are you tolerating in your life that you don't want to, but you're afraid to stop people pleasing? You're afraid to set healthy boundaries. You're afraid to say no, right? My body will not let me tolerate anymore, because she'll like wake me up in the middle of the night and be like, hey, no. My urethra, my bladder, she's like, no, those are my sounding boards. If I'm tolerating, anything, she'll be like, why? What are you doing? You need to stop this. Like, this is dense energy. This is, draining you. Why are you continuing to do this? And I get the message fast, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to clean that up. Right. Because when we tolerate, okay, I'm going to continue to tolerate people mistreating me and disrespecting me. I'm going to continue to tolerate overbooking my schedule. I'm going to continue to tolerate people pleasing and say yes when I really want to say no, and then be resentful of the person and myself. I'm going to continue to tolerate self-sabotaging with food. Like, when we stay in this toleration, we're draining so much energy. We're lowering our vibration. We're upset with ourselves. We're so disconnected from ourselves. It's very difficult to access your intuition. It's very difficult to really access these more subtle but gifted parts of you, if you're constantly stretched in a million different ways, if you're overbooked, if you're overwhelmed, if you're, in self-loathing, you're hurting your body with food, you're punishing yourself with diets and exercise that are just a form of punishment versus nourishing and mindful movement and honoring your body where she's at. Like, this all has a significant impact on disconnecting you from your intuition, your gifts, more deeply being able to listen to your body and build a deeper level of awareness. And we don't want that, right? We don't want that. We've spent our whole lives being disconnected, a lot of us. We want to reconnect. And part of it means learning how to cleaning up the energy. And so, of course, as you do so, right, as you learn to stop people pleasing, set healthy boundaries, you start saying no, you start addressing your self-sabotage with food and the body sabotage. As you start, opening up more time for yourself and building mindful practices and catching your ego and learning what it feels like to be in tune and to be in your power, right? And you balance your digestion and your hormones and your physical symptoms start to resolve more. As you do so, you clean up the energy leaks. You learn how to manage your energy. You learn how to manage being an empath, but not take on everyone else's stuff. And as you slow down and you connect more with yourself, you have more access to your intuition. It gets stronger. Your light gets stronger. You reconnect with your worthiness and your self-love and your power. It's always been there, but we've just been mentally disconnected and convinced that it's not there. And so as we do this and we let intuition lead and we really let our bodies lead, life opens up. Right? So it's like the example, my body won't let me tolerate anything that's not in alignment for my greatest good. Well, that's a great thing because she yells at me right away. She has my attention, then I change it and there's no suffering and like things dragging out, et cetera, et cetera. So when we let our bodies lead us and when you become that in tune, when your body wants to eat something, like I was eating oatmeal and fruit with like nuts and coconut oil and cinnamon, all these great things for breakfast for so long. And then when I had my big upgrade in October, my body's like, give me smoothies. I want smoothies for breakfast. I'm like, okay. So I've been having smoothies ever since. And every week or so I'll check and be like, do you still want smoothies? And she's like, yes. And today she's like, put some banana in there. It's not like she's yelling at me like she doesn't like me. It's the only way I can describe it in a different context, right? As I'm speaking to you. But I'm like, okay, yeah, totally. Let's pop some of that in there. And it's just so good and refreshing and nourishing, right? So this is part of the listening. And then, instead of having a set self-care routine, which I think it's great to have open time and space for self-care, but not pre-decide what you're going to do and instead tune in. So today I was like, okay, do you want to do your like somatic shaking? My body's like, no, I want to meditate. I want to spend our whole self-care time meditating. And I did. And I just did my 20 to 30 minute practice. And I just sat in gratitude for a while and got grounded. And then like just was listening to see if anything else came in. And it felt so good. And it was exactly what I needed. So I let my body decide versus, oh, well, maybe I should shake and then I'll clear energy and then I'll meditate. And it's like, no, what do I feel like I want today? What feels good? And it's like, if you're not there yet, don't feel like it's, oh, I'm not going to get there. That's not for me. No, everyone achieves a different level of mastery at a different level of time. And I've been working on this for like 14 years, right? So just know that you will get there when you're meant to. And whether that's you figuring it out on your own or you reaching out for support so you can calibrate maybe a little bit more efficiently, more quickly. I don't want to say that as like, oh, if you hire someone, you're going to heal more quickly. But it's just like when you have someone guiding you along the way, you can shift more efficiently because you're not spending more time like digging yourself into deeper ruts and then getting out of them. You know what I mean? It's just having the guidance and support really helps us shift on a more efficient level, I find. So as we do this, to me, like the keys here are we realign our energy, we reaccess a deeper level of intuition, and then we let our body and our intuition guide us. And as that happens, guess what? Your business gets to expand. Your relationships improve. Your communication gets stronger. You set the healthy boundaries in your schedule. You stop the people pleasing. Like I said, you're less overwhelmed. Your nervous system gets regular. Your hormones can finally balance. Your digestion feels better. You do not want to self-sabotage and numb out and check out anymore because you're like, life gets to be amazing and I get to create a beautiful life, right? You attract the aligned clients and the aligned relationships and more abundance, and you clear out the expenses that no longer serve you. You can save more money, or maybe you make more money because now you're not feeling contracted every time you pay for something, right? And as you said, oh gosh, it feels so good to set healthy boundaries and to not worry about what other people think if you say no. Oh my goodness. And that you're just as good of a person and there's nothing bad or wrong. And then you have more time to take care of yourself. Win, 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 wins across the board. And the more grounded you are, the calmer your nervous system, the stronger your intuition and your unique gifts are that you came to this planet with. Oh my gosh, you heal on a deeper level, more power, more love, more confidence, more connection, more worthiness. Oh, it just keeps getting better. It really does. You get to create this incredible life and reality. You do. Everyone gets to. Do you choose it though? Everyone has the same opportunity. Do you choose it? Are you willing to work through your stuff? Are you willing to take ownership and responsibility? This is the key for us to look at, and to be patient, because the journey takes time and different pace for everybody. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's, please. Don't do yourself that disservice. Different journey for everybody. We're all on a different healing journey. And to celebrate it and be patient and have gratitude that you're here and you're awakening to it and you want it and you want to make the change. Maybe you're already experiencing the change. Celebrate it though, and try to have gratitude for your body. She is the beautiful vessel that you decided to come into this planet on. She has gifted you life, or he. I know there's guys and gals listening, and I'm so glad you're here, right? So I want to talk about ways we can start cleaning up energy, because let's get started now. Maybe this is like your intention for the years, like, oh, I really want to work on cleaning up energy, which would be a great focus. For me, continuing to clean up and manage energy. And then I picked some words for the year: gratitude, bold, and effortless. Those are my kind of theme words for the year. I'm still going to have trust be in there because I think I can still build deeper levels of trust, but that was like my main theme for 2022, was like faith and trust. I feel like I've worked a lot on that. It can still be deepened. However, it's tenfold what it used to be. So how do we start cleaning up energy? Okay, let's talk about some different areas of life that are impacting your energy and how we can shift them. So the first thing is, where are you at with your self-worth? Because if you're in self-sabotage with food, if you're emotionally eating, binge eating, food addiction, binging and purging, like, don't be hard on yourself if it's happening. You're not alone. I used to be there. However, if this is happening for you, I highly encourage you to start addressing it, and in whatever way you see fit, right? Starting to listen to podcasts, taking programs, hiring a mentor or a coach. If you want to reach out to me and talk about support, I'm happy to do so. But I encourage you to start dealing with this first, because this takes you on such an emotional roller coaster of all kinds of emotions, makes your physical symptoms worse. It lowers your mood. It has you fighting with your body and your weight. It keeps you away from building your worthiness, accessing your intuition, and building a deeper connection with yourself. And often when we're in self-sabotage, we will go into other self-sabotage, like people-pleasing, perfection, negative self-talk, and be in more kind of like desperation energy to get validation from others. And that is all messy energy. So deal with your relationship with food, work on building your worthiness. And so part of that is getting support potentially. And part of that is in your schedule, start being willing to block off time and set a healthy boundary that, like, you have the sacred X amount of time to start building a self-care routine where you can get grounded, you can release and feel emotions and see that you're safe to feel, bringing in different, self-care rituals like meditation, breath, tapping. If you want to come and join the Body Freedom membership and learn more about these things, I do that all there and in all my other coaching containers as well. But if you're wanting a little intro taste and you want to kick your Starbucks habit and spend the, 77 USD a month on the membership, that would be a great swap, and you do a lot of healing there, right? But start opening up time so that you can start going within yourself and healing yourself and whatever's blocking you and keeping this energy messy and heavy and sticky, right? And so the next thing that you're going to want to potentially look at exploring cleaning up is your environment, your space. Is there clutter? Is it messy? Is it dusty? What are you tolerating in the space? Like the other night, Phil and I, because we always set intentions for the new year, not like resolutions, but things we want to work on throughout the year. And we have a house section where, like, okay, we want to get a new blind for our patio. And we had it on last year. We never did. And we're like, okay, we need to follow up more on this year and like get more of this done. And so we got it done second day into the new year, and it looks so good. And it just cleaned up the energy in that part of the house. And the vibe is like even better. So you can be just little things in your house like that, right? That you want to clean up or change or update. But clean up your space. Like, I know after I clean my office, the vibration in here is even better. I'm like, wow, like, okay, I need to make sure I'm doing this weekly, right? Getting the dust out, because that's where like low energy subsides, resides and all this stuff, right? So clean your space, have a nice, and it's your whole house doesn't have to be perfectly clean to do self-care. Don't let your ego convince you of that. Even if it's just one corner where you can sit and be cozy, that's all you need. So stop letting your ego convince you that the house needs to be in pristine condition for you to do self-care. That is just a story. Be aware of the lack of boundaries that you have. And maybe for you, want to start cleaning up energy by starting to practice saying no, asking for help, right? Having more of that time where you're saying no to others to say yes to yourself, because that is important. And if that's really nerve-wracking and scary to you, I would highly encourage you to get support. I help my clients with that kind of stuff all the time. Be aware of the people you're spending time with. Is it fulfilling? Is it aligned? Or is it superficial and draining? Are people taking from you all the time? Are you giving so much and not getting anything in return? Are there relationships to complete or space and not spend as much time with? Are there other people that are more on the same level as you and you have more in common that maybe you want to pursue those relationships? Or maybe it's like setting some boundaries so that it opens up more time for you to connect with yourself, right? But this is some energy to clean up. Work on practicing, just building awareness of what it feels like when you're in your power, and when you give it away to your ego and a negative self-talk, and even just starting to build awareness, because as you build awareness, you can catch and shift and take your power back more quickly. And then you're more grounded, and then you're in more grounded energy, and your vibration is higher than if your ego is always in control. You're in a lower vibration and it's heavier, denser energy. And then if we're in low vibration, it's easier for us to want to people please or self-sabotage or be like, I don't feel like doing self-care. I don't feel like having my space be organized. I don't care, right? Like, we want to clean up the energy so we have less of those I don't care mentalities or what's the point mentalities. And how that has a significant impact on your health is as you start to emotionally feel better, you want to take better care of yourself, you prioritize your self more, and then you want to nurture these changes that you've made with your schedule, with boundaries, with balance, with healing your relationship with food and your body, the worth and the confidence and the power that you're building. And as you do all of that, you want to nurture and protect it. And therefore, the boundaries stick. It's easy to attain. These lifestyle changes stick because you feel and experience so many benefits physically, energetically, mentally, and emotionally. And you start addressing your emotional and your physical struggles, as you build up a good digestive system and you balance your hormones and you get into better sleep habits and hydration and mindful eating practices. As these things shift, your vibration naturally goes up, because the more unwell you feel, the more emotional you are. It's harder for the body to heal. There's so much stress going on. So as we slowly, and these are changes to make over time. You don't do this all at once, but as you make these little changes one step at a time and you pick away at these things, you heal more deeply. Your nervous system is more regulated. You're in a better mood. You kick the habits that don't serve you anymore. You step into your power. You fill the void. You feel worthy. You heal. You love yourself. And as you do that, magic happens in your life. Magic happens. So much magic happens when you allow yourself to shift this and the old behaviors fall away. So I wanted to just share that today, because it's a whole other level of thinking about energy and toleration and cleaning that up. And where do you want to start? What are you working on? I'm so curious to hear. So feel free to send me a message of a takeaway of this, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment below. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. The show notes can be found at amberapproved.ca/podcast/393. As I always say, you can go to amberapproved.ca and take the free emotional eating quiz. If you're wondering if you're struggling, this is also where you can book a body freedom call or biz freedom call. Learn more about what body freedom is. And there's all kinds of other goodies there as well. And as always, I'm just so grateful that you're here with me. I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have a beautiful day, a great week. I'm sending you so much love and cheering you on, and I will look forward to sharing a whole new episode with all of you next Sunday. And as I always say, there's no better time than the present. to start cleaning up the energy or taking action on something for you that's going to help you heal. So take action now. Take care.